NAIA what?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Buzzer Beater, your home for NAIA basketball news and analysis. We're live on YouTube. Go ahead and jump in the live chat. James Lex here, joined as always by senior basketball analyst John Cookman on Buzzer Beater. John, is March Madness?
Yes, it is. Time to do away with all those coronavirus fears and concerns just for a little bit and get another fever, the March Madness fever. And no better way to do that than be right here with us right now as we do some bracketology.
Yes.
As we go over some of the games that have happened in men's and women's Division II today.
Yes.
Just
Division II tournament
here on
today.
out for the next couple of weeks, it is going to be nonstop basketball action, and it's going to be a blast.
All right, well, guys, it's 5:59. The women's basketball bracket is supposed to be going live in just a few moments. Before that, let's take a look at the last coaches poll we have. That we saw with the Raiders, who they favored, who they liked. At the top, you have Oklahoma City. They were undefeated at the time. They ended up getting 2 losses since then. This was about 2 weeks ago. They ended up getting 2 losses, both to Wayland Baptist at number 5 there. Wayland, now Oklahoma City got the regular season title. They'll share it with Wayland, but they'll get that auto bid. And then Wayland won the conference tournament, so they're getting in. Masters and Westmont, you can see there, a lot of change there. Westmont winning the conference tournament for the 5th consecutive year. So good chance Westmont's getting one of those number 1 seeds. Oklahoma City, Wayland Baptist, I don't know. Could they both get a number 1 seed here? Number 1 overall, Oklahoma City and Wayland. Is it possible you get 2 from the same? Or maybe, I
don't think so. I mean,
Westmont,
yes, you could,
Masters.
but I don't think it will happen, although Wayland did just beat Oklahoma City in the postseason play of the conference tournament. But Oklahoma City is just a much better team.
Let's go right to those bracket reveal right now.
We are here live at the College Basketball Experience in downtown Kansas City. In just a few moments, we will reveal all of the qualifiers and the bracket for the 40th annual NAIA Division I Women's Basketball National Championship in Billings, Montana, beginning on March 18th at the Rimrock Auto Arena. 32 teams will descend on Billings, where we will crown the winner on March 24th. The march to the NAIA national title begins now.
Let's go. 200 people watching.
There are 2 primary ways a team can make the national championship field. A program can qualify as conference regular season champion, regular season runner-up, tournament champion, or tournament runner-up depending on the league. Conferences with 10 or more postseason eligible schools receive 2 automatic berths, while leagues with less get 1. This season, there are 14 automatic berths into the championship field. The other method is by receiving an at-large berth. These spots are given to the highest-ranked teams in the final edition of the NAIA Division I Women's Basketball Coaches Top 25 poll that didn't already qualify as an automatic. 17 teams were awarded at-large positions. Additionally, Rocky Mountain College qualifies as the host institution for the 2020 NAIA Division I Women's Basketball National Championship. Now, let's take a look at the top 4 teams. Our number 1 overall seed are the Warriors of Westmont College. The regular season champion in the Golden State, Westmont also went on to take the GSAC Tournament Championship with a 78-68 win over the Masters on Saturday. Westmont will enter championship play in the midst of a 14-game win streak. The number 2 overall seed are the Flying Queens of Wayland Baptist. Wow. Wayland Baptist captured the tournament championship of the Sooner Athletic Conference with a 68-57 defeat of Oklahoma City. The Flying Queens have rattled off 27 wins in a row heading into championship play and are ranked number 1 in the nation in 4 statistical categories, including total assists and rebounds per game. The number 3 overall seed are the Stars of Oklahoma City. One of 3 teams that finished with 30 wins or more. The Stars enter national championship play with an overall record of 30-2. The Stars have the top field goal percentage defense in the nation, holding opponents to just over 32% on the year from the floor. They are led by top three-point shooter in the nation, Mallory Lockhart, who has 117 made three-pointers this season. The number 4 overall seed are the Lady Tigers of Campbellsville. Earning an at-large berth this season, the Lady Tigers enter championship play with an overall record of 29-3. Lexi Lake is ranked number 3 in three-point field goal percentage, averaging just shy of 42% from beyond the arc. As a team, Campbellsville is ranked number 1 in the nation in both steals per game and total assists. When we come back, we will look at the bracket right after this.
Interesting. Wow. So, John,
Campbellsville.
thoughts so far.
Yeah.
Campbellsville getting the number 1 in Westmont. I thought there was a chance they could get a couple teams from that Golden State Conference that could get there, but it turns out Sooner got 2 in OCU, and Wayland jumping OCU for a higher.
Yeah, that's surprising
seed.
to me. Probably wouldn't have put Wayland in the top 4 at all. Very deserving of a 5 at least.
Yeah.
But to see them pop in at number 2, quite a shocker.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. Westmont number 1, I'm good with, but I really think Oklahoma City on the whole season.
Mm-hmm.
I just think if you look at the end, Oklahoma City gets 2 losses at the end.
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe maybe we just need to look at the little recency bias, but I think that's an easy.
Yeah, Wayland's win over OCU, and it happened 2 times. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, they got in.
An at-large bid out of the Heart with an overall record of 17-11. Our next matchup features the Wolfpack of Loyola. The Wolfpack earned an at-large bid out of the Southern States with an overall record of 21-7. They will face the Statesmen of William Penn. The Statesmen earned an automatic berth out of the Heart as the regular season runners-up and an overall record of 25-7. The Tornadoes of Talladega are in with an at-large berth out of the Gulf Coast Athletic Conference. The Tornadoes finished with an overall record of 28-5. They will face the Warriors of Lewis Clark State out of Lewiston, Idaho. The Warriors earned an at-large berth this season with an overall record of 21-10. Our final matchup of the quadrant will feature the Bears of Shawnee State. The Bears earned their spot as the tournament champion of the Mid-South Conference. They will face the Owls of William Woods. The Owls earned an at-large berth out of the AMC this season with an overall record of 25-7. Moving down to the Kramer quadrant, the number 1 seed will be the Lady Tigers of Campbellsville. The Lady Tigers earned an at-large berth out of the Mid-South with an overall record of 29-3. They will face the Red Hawks of Martin Methodist. The Red Hawks earned an automatic berth as the runners-up in the Southern States tournament and will be making their 5th trip to the championship. The Saints of Our Lady of the Lake are in by virtue of an at-large berth this season. The Saints will enter play with an overall record of 26-6 and are making their 9th appearance all-time into the championship. They will face the Clark Pride. The Pride earned an at-large berth this season with an overall record of 25-7. In our next matchup, the Lady Lions of Freed-Hardeman will head to Billings out of the American Midwest Conference. The Lady Lions were the tournament champions in the AMC. They will face the Argos of Providence. The Argos earned their way into the field as the Frontier Tournament champions and an overall record of 21-12. The Mustangs of the Masters will help to complete the Kramer quadrant as the tournament runners-up in the Golden State Athletic Conference and an overall record of 29-3.
So they're probably going to be 5.
They will face the Panthers of Philander Smith. The Panthers were the champions of the Gulf Coast Tournament with an overall record of 26-7. When we come back, we'll reveal the right side of the bracket right after this.
All right.
That's interesting in that I don't know if I had Providence really going to make it. I know they had the overall record at 21-12.
But you win your conference tournament, you're going to get that.
Oh, that's right. They did. That's right.
That's
how they
what
did.
it was.
So
yeah.
they leapfrogged
everyone.
Yeah, they leapfrogged Rocky Mountain, and I guess it kind of knocked the Rocky Mountain team out.
They still had 20-some wins, right? I mean, they were 21-12.
21. Yeah, and I guess that is part of one of the top 5 criteria to meet.
All right, let's go to the doer bracket.
Earn their spot as the regular season champion in the Sooner. They will face the Crusaders of Evangel. The Crusaders earned their 4th bid into the field in team history with an at-large berth and an overall record of 20-11.
Evangel finished 4th in the heart of America.
Our next matchup features the Blue Raiders of Lindsey Wilson. The Blue Raiders grabbed an at-large berth into the field out of the Mid-South with an overall record of 26-6. They will face the Bulldogs of Montana Western. The Bulldogs earned their 13th trip to the national championship with an at-large berth and an overall record of 20-11. The Scots of Lyon College are in this season with a regular season title in the AMC under their belt.
Wow.
The Scots will be making their ninth
appearance. A higher seed.
They will face the Bearcats of Rust. The Bearcats earned an at-large berth with an impressive 24-6 overall record and will be making their first trip to the national championship.
Yeah.
Our next matchup will feature the Eagles of Central Methodist. The Eagles were the winners of both the Hart regular season and tournament with an overall record of 31-2. They will face the Battling Bears of Rocky Mountain. The Battling Bears earned the host berth with an overall record of 19-11 and will be making their 5th appearance into the national championship.
There you go.
Wow.
Moving to the
Frontier.
listing quadrant, the Flying Queens of
Frontier.
Wayland Baptist are in as the winners of the Sooner Conference Tournament. The Flying Queens defeated a tough Oklahoma City squad 68-57 on Saturday. They will face the Wildcats of Culver Stockton. The Wildcats earned their spot in the championship field with an at-large bid out of the Hart. The Cougars of Columbia are in as the number 4 seed in the listing quadrant. The Cougars earned an at-large bid with an overall record of 25-7. They will face the Saints of Carroll. The Saints earned their way in with an at-large bid and finished with an overall record of 21-10.
Number 1 in the Frontier Conference.
Next matchup will feature the Lions of Vanguard.
At a 5 seed.
The conference, I guess, like 5 teams in.
Yeah, they get 5 teams in. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
They will face the Saints of Thomas More. The Saints earned an at-large bid out of the Mid-South with an overall record of 22-10. And finally, the Wildcats of Bethel will take to the court in Billings as the Southern States regular season and tournament champions. The Wildcats enter with an overall record of 29-4.
These guys
They will face the Pilots of LSU Shreveport.
Wow.
The Pilots earned an automatic berth into the championship field as the winners of the Red River Tournament with an overall record of 23-7.
That's sneaky right there. That's going to be a great matchup.
That
Bethel LSU-S matchup. Very exciting to see, and I predicted a couple of the 7 upsets over 2 in the D2 bracket. You know, it looks like there is some shape to see some big upsets in the D1 bracket, especially LSU-S playing Bethel. Bethel is fantastic, but Shreveport is no slouch at all.
Wow.
Hey, if you guys want to join in with the conversation, be sure you can get in on Discord. If you don't know what Discord is, just ask your little brother or sister or someone from the Z generation. They'll let you know. But
go to championsports.network, and then there's a link right there to the Discord. We're going to be filling that up over the next 2 weeks, really, as we have the D2 tournament and the D1 tournament. And
great conversation that can be had about all the NAIA action going on starting today and for the next couple of weeks. So it's going to be a blast. We'll be on there talking to whoever wants to talk basketball. I found no better way to do it.
There's a lot to talk about. Let's look at the full bracket that was just announced. So we talked about Westmont. We talked about getting that number 1 overall seed. Let's take a quick look at the Naismith there. Or actually, let's first see here. You said Frontier. Did I count it right? 5 teams got in. Lewis Clark State.
Well, yeah, it was the top 5. So Carroll, Montana Western. Did Montana and Western get in?
Yeah, Montana Western. They're a 5 seed too.
Where are they playing?
They're 5 seed. They're in the Dewar bracket. They're playing Lindsey Wilson. First round. Wow, that's gonna be a good game.
Yeah, Lewis Clark State, Rocky Mountain, and Providence, all getting in. Providence getting in by the virtue of the automatic bid, winning the conference tournament. That kind of shook some things up.
It did.
I'd like to look at that a little closer to see who got knocked out.
But yeah, I would love to know that. I'll check in a second here if they posted the poll. You can kind of look down at number 33, 34 in the poll. But it's interesting too. Like Providence. You mentioned them getting in, but they got a 6 seed, right? They're not getting an 8 seed just sneaking in.
Yeah.
They're still getting a higher than 8. Yep. Rocky Mountain, even though the host team, they got the 7 seed.
Yep.
So you see some really interesting choices here in terms of the seeding. Vanguard a 3, That's intriguing. And a pretty competitive Golden State. I mean,
guys, I can
tough.
just already see a couple 2-7 matchups that are incredibly interesting.
Yeah.
That is Philander Smith and the Masters, as well as LSU, Shreveport, and Bethel. Do not know a whole lot about William Woods, but I would go out easily on a limb for Shawnee State there. And Central Methodist, Rocky Mountain, I'm probably going to stay with the 2 seed there, but you just never know. Both of those teams had great years. Rocky Mountain coming out of what we were saying is that 5 teams from one conference, 5 of 7 teams.
They only have
5 of 7 teams from one conference. I don't know.
Yeah, and MSU Northern and I think it was Montana Tech. They weren't going to get in, but still 5. The teams that had winning records in your conference. That's very competitive, and none of them were an 8 seed. Like I look at the 8 seeds, none of them are from the Frontier. In fact, they're Heart teams: Mid American Nazarene, Evangel, and I believe Culver Stockton.
So where is the University of Science and Arts of Oklahoma playing?
They are going to be playing nowhere because they're going to be at home.
And where's Mid America Christian playing?
Mid America Christian, they're going to be playing Xbox, I guess, over the next few weeks.
So we found 2 likely culprits that got overlooked or snubbed or whatever you want to say. Providence getting that win and the automatic bid, I'm sure, really threw a kink into some plans. And I would say one of those plans was definitely the University of Science and Arts of Oklahoma. And they come in at 21-10, playing 2 of the top 3 teams in the nation twice a year. Are you kidding me? How in the world does that happen?
All right, so so the NAIA, they did just here, I'll make it full screen here. They just released the I guess it's not quite
press release.
Yeah, the press release. Thank you. So they said no unbeaten teams. Campbellsville, longest active appearance streak. Only 5 teams of the 32 have won a national championship. OCU, Freed Hardeman, Mid American Nazarene, Western Vanguard, Westmont. That's 6. I'm counting. Yeah, it's 6 teams. And then Oklahoma City back-to-back. You know, Oklahoma City last year they were in the championship game, didn't quite get the win for the national championship, but they look strong coming back. I'm trying to see here if they have any notes on who was left out. Let's see, 23 teams from last year. That's pretty high. Let's see, 6 teams have 20 or more tournament appearances.
Evangel, for the first time in 10 years, gets another berth to the national tournament.
Yeah. And then right here, they list out. Okay, so this doesn't give me. So this just gives me alphabetically how the teams qualified. So they gave Bethel regular season tournament, Campbellsville and at large. That's amazing, and they were a 1 seed, unless I'm forgetting something. Campbellsville was the number 1 overall, or not overall, but just number 1 in their bracket. I believe the Liston bracket. Carroll at large, Central, Clark. I mean, a lot of at larges this year. 17.
Yeah,
that is a lot of at larges.
Wow.
And then on none of these, the only Sooner teams I see are Wayland and Oklahoma City. That is it. Like we said, Providence with the 5. I think Sooner Athletic Conference, I think they have a little bit of a case to gripe. They didn't.
Yeah. Only two.
Only 2.
Only 2.
That's it.
Sooner Athletic Conference, baby. I am sure historically these guys one of the best conferences in America.
And I mean, a USAO team. I mean, here I'm going to bring up the standings here so you guys can see what is apparently not good enough. Yeah, look at this. So Wayland and Oklahoma City, both with 19 wins in conference, 30. I mean, 2 30-win teams you got to play.
Science and Arts beats their opponents on an average by 12 points a game.
Right there, yeah, 74-64.
That's a head scratcher.
Wow. And overall, 12. And the Mid America Christian men's team, they're hunting for a number 1 seed on the men's side, but the women's side not too shabby. 21-11, 12-8 in conference, and Texas Wesleyan 12-8. 17 wins, probably not going to look great at the national level, but you still have 2 other teams there with 20 wins. And Wayland and OCU are well loved, apparently. I mean, they both got 1 seeds. So you'd think the Raiders would give some love to the USAO.
Well, I mean, that's a no-brainer, though. There's two. I would argue Wayland should be at 5, but I understand how it went down at the end with Wayland.
5 overall, like maybe a 2 seed, you mean? Is that what you mean? Or?
No, 5th in – well, they would have been a 2 seed.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just saying 5th overall in the nation.
Right.
That's where they ended
the well, that's where they were in the poll before.
The polls,
the conference tournaments went down in the regular season.
Yeah. You want to just go through, bring up the bracket one more time?
I'll bring that up.
Let's take a look at that.
Give me 1 second.
I'm sure they would rather see the poll, bracket than my beautiful face.
Yeah. So, see, Oklahoma City, they're going to get Evangel first round. That's going to be interesting game.
That will be interesting.
Probably, I'm still going to give.
All right, let's see. What are your upsets? You got any upsets? Just gut instinct says
I'm going.
This is going to be an upset.
You know, I'm going to ride with the Argos. Pick the 6th seed here. I think they're going to beat Freed Hardeman in the Kramer bracket. I like Thomas More over Vanguard. I mean, Vanguard's very, very good, but I could see that in my 3-6 matchups. Lyon, I think they're going to take care of business against Rust. Talladega, Lewis Clark State, and Naismith. Ooh, that's actually going to be. It's so tricky to tell with the Frontier Conference teams because they play each other so much. Like, it's tough to figure out how they're going to play against Talladega. But I could see the upset, but I'll probably pick Talladega in that one. I don't see any 1/8s. I don't see any upsets in the first round for the 1 seeds. I'll punch that in right now. Man, all these 1 seeds are really strong this year. Like, I feel like they're significantly stronger than. I mean, that's why you have teams like Oklahoma City that are undefeated until like the last game of the year.
Sure.
So I don't see there the 2 7s. I think you brought up Philander Smith earlier. I could see something there. Then the Dewar bracket: Central Methodist, Rocky Mountain. Nah, Central Methodist got that on lockdown. They'll play Lyon in the second round.
Yeah, you would definitely think that's a gimme.
Yeah, that seems like a gimme. Carroll got the 5 seed. That seems low. 5. Yeah, I could see Carroll playing Wayland in the second round. That would be a great game. Carroll and Wayland in the second round of the Liston bracket. That'd be a shootout. That would be an excellent game, and I
don't think that's going to happen.
Wait, you don't think it's going to happen?
No.
You don't. Are you saying Wayland doesn't get to the second round, or Carroll doesn't?
No,
get there?
I don't think Carroll beats Columbia.
Really?
It'll be close, but I think Columbia. I think they take care of business.
Really?
Yep.
I'm sticking. All right. Well, we'll see what happens next Wednesday when they square off. I believe at 4:45 is their start time. That's going to be a good one. Any other thoughts, John, you have from this women's basketball, this bracket reveal?
Well, I'm going to stick with my mid-season prediction that Oklahoma City University wins it all.
You're going to stick with it? No change, even with them losing 2 to Wayland here at the end of the season?
Well, they're not going to be playing in Plainview, Texas. So that's going to give a little different look to that game. It'll be the order of the universe will be restored. And, I'm just going to leave that there.
They could play Wayland a 3rd time this season. I mean, they're on the same side of the bracket. They could play in the Fab Four, I think that's what they call it in the NAIA women's side. I know the guys call it the Fab Four, but at least in the Final Four, Oklahoma City, Wayland, they could play. Now the question is Wayland or Oklahoma City? Well, you're saying OCU all the way. So
I think Wayland has probably one of the easier paths to the Final Four.
It's difficult to figure out. I don't know. Listed, I don't know. Carroll's going to be. I think that's going to be a challenge for Wayland. I'm not saying they're going to lose, but that's going to be a challenge.
Well, they're not going to play Carroll. They'll play Columbia, and that will be. I don't know. I think Wayland's good enough to beat either one of those teams. you're not going to, maybe a Vanguard or a Bethel. If Bethel escapes through, they're going to, I think Bethel will get more challenged by LSUS because it's a first-round game. Yeah. But if they get past that game, I see Bethel going, and that could be a good 1-2 matchup.
That would be a really good matchup.
And Bethel, very good. I'm not, Vanguard? Possibly. But I'm going to stay with 1 and 2 out of the listing. And then I'm going to go.
I got a hot take for the Kramer. If
okay, go ahead.
I think the winner of that 4-5 game has a chance to upset Campbellsville in the second round. I know that sounds crazy. I mean, Campbellsville is very good. They've played great all year. But I think the winner of Our Lady and Clark, they could. That you watch that second round game, it's going to be like 3 points.
Our Lady is a handful.
I think that's. I could see either of those teams. I could see them beating Campbellsville. Again, these 1 seeds are so strong this year from the very first game of the year until now. But I'm not going to be surprised if I see an upset there. That's
Our Lady.
William Penn and Westmont and Naismith. I didn't even notice that.
Our Lady is if they're not the top in plus differential scoring margin.
They put up a bunch of points.
That they're one of the top 2 or 3. I'm trying to look it up real quick just to make sure.
Well, I mean, I think all year Our Lady has been taking care of business.
Yeah, by far.
And I'm saying a team that could beat them.
But guess who's number 2 on that scoring margin differential?
Differential? I would think Campbellsville maybe.
They're number 4.
Okay.
Wayland Baptist beats people by 26.5 points a game.
They had a lot of like 100 to 60.
Yeah, they had a few gimmies
98, 70
that were big.
Yeah,
but they got waxed one time by Oklahoma City.
Yeah, they did. They had an early season game where they got that was
46 to 70. Yeah. Oklahoma City beat them pretty good.
Yeah. Well, you could say Oklahoma City played that game at home, so it's even some. Anyway, we won't get too far in that, but I would say these 4-5 in Kramer and the 4-5 game in Naismith, I could see them giving trouble to the 1 seeds. Yeah. William Penn and Loyola, that's a really interesting matchup on its own. But a second round, the winner of that playing Westmont, that's a really strong side of the bracket there. But I'd say those are all my hot takes for now. We'll get some more on Twitter. And guys, let us know what you think we got a live chat running here because we are live on YouTube. But go ahead and drop a comment there or go to championsports.network. We got a link right there to Discord so you can talk about what your predictions are. We got it broken down, channels for each conference if you want to talk about that. I'm
going to go ahead and make a Final Four prediction.
Okay.
Shawnee State out of Naismith.
Interesting. Wow, you don't have Westmont. Do you have Shawnee State beating Westmont there? I guess?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, obviously, if they're going to make it to the Final Four,
if you have Westmont losing to the Loyola William Penn.
Oh no! I think Westmont. It's going to be a Shawnee State. It's another 1-2 battle there in Naismith. I think Shawnee State takes that,
up, please, so
and I think Freed Hardeman actually comes out of the Kramer, and. Campbellsville.
Okay.
Actually, I'm going to just say Our Lady of the Lake plays Freed Hardeman, duking it out for that Final Four berth out of Kramer. And so Freed Hardeman, I think, wins.
Wow.
And then Oklahoma City in the Dewar. And then I'm going to...
That's an easy one. We're in the...
Then I'm going to put
so many key players.
I'm going to put Bethel in the listing.
Bethel going to 2 seed there.
Yep. 2 seeds and a 3 seed and a 1 seed.
Wow. Bold.
There it is.
Wow. Well, do you guys agree? Do you guys agree with John here that
I'm actually going to post it in Discord right now, so you can't.
Well, make sure you guys get to Discord.
Say I didn't say it. Final Four.
Oh, there it goes. Someone's typing it up in there. Let me go check YouTube, see if we got any comments. Got 10 people watching right now. Thank you guys. Hey, we're about ready to shift here and talk about men's basketball. We have some bracketology to talk about. John's got hot takes, I'm sure, on who should be in, who should be out. We are about 30 minutes away from the men's basketball bracket being revealed, about just over 30 minutes, and we'll go to that live when that happens. We'll bring that in, give you our reactions. I'm checking they still haven't posted the poll yet. I wish they'd post the poll. Then we know who the last teams out were, but they are holding back on that for some reason. They say it's supposed to come out, but they have only released just the bracket announcement. So anyway, that's coming up next. Well, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead, John. We'll just shift now. We'll start talking men's basketball here. Let's take a look at the last coaches poll that we got from Division I, just so you guys have some idea of where the teams ranked based on where the Raiders felt that the stronger teams were at. You saw in the women's basketball side, the Raiders really gave some love for Golden State with Westmont, Masters, Vanguard. We'll see what happens on the men's side. The Raiders, they seem to, I'd say the favorite one would probably be the Sooner Athletic, where you have MacU there at number 2. You have John Brown at 9, SAGU at 13. So you have 3 teams there in the top 15. On the, I'd say the next one, I mean, so they have the 2 Red River teams at 6 and 8, but those are the only teams that were even getting votes. They both in top 10, but no other conference had 3. Georgetown, and you have Georgetown and Cumberland in the same conference at 1 and 15. Georgetown, of course, John, they won their conference in the regular season and the conference tournament. MacU, they lost in their conference tournament in the second round, I believe, to SAGU at number 13. Lewis Clark State, they won their conference outright, and Westmont, I'm blanking on Westmont. I don't think they won their conference. Dalton State, Shreveport, LSU Shreveport, John. Whew, they look good. I think they're going to be higher than what we're seeing there at 6. That they're gonna shoot up. There's no way they're going to be a 2 seed. They're going to be a 1 seed. Just the way
they'll be a 2
playing.
speed. They'll be a 2 seed.
Who are you going to put ahead of them? I mean, you can say you got 4 teams better. I mean, even if you leave Georgetown, MacU, Lewis Clark, I guess you could put Dalton State ahead of them. I guess that's a possibility. But let me go see. I'm going to bring up some stats here to look at for the overall standings.
They'll separate LSU S and LSU A out. They'll both be 2 seeds, which will be interesting. The only 2 teams I think that the Red River will send will be both of the LSU teams, and they'll both be 2 seeds. And they'll separate them. So maybe. It'll be interesting to see if they stack them or if they put them on the opposite side, so that there could be a potential LSU championship game.
There could be.
That would be interesting. Both of those teams are fun to watch.
And I want to say that's almost happened before, like a year or 2 ago, if my memory serves me correctly. They've both gotten pretty deep in the tournament. In the current standings right now, Georgetown, Mid-America Christian, and Dalton State are and William Penn all have 30 wins right now. So if you're going just off your win-loss, you could put those teams in. And William Penn won their conference, so that would certainly help, or your conference tournament. And then LSU Shreveport, here they're 5, but I think they're going to sneak in. I think Lewis Clark State I think there's a very good chance they'll be a 2 seed. But it's tough to figure out how it'll pan out in that last poll, because it all depends how the Raiders view the final poll as to where the top 4 and really the top 8 have to shake out. Like you see John Brown at down there just past Faulkner. They're 8th right now. They were 9th in the last poll, but John Brown, they lost in their tournament championship game. So how are the Raiders going to view that as a good thing? Or are they going to say, well, it's a tough conference. They played a hot team, lost, but it was still a 15, 20-point loss. And then Westmont, they're down there. You can see they were pretty high. Now they're 9, just by the win-loss, which wins matter a lot right now. Like, wins cure all, but wins are how these. I think it's how the Raiders are going to look at this, right?
There's some criteria, and one of the top pieces of criteria they look at are the overall wins. How did you do? Whether you agree with that or not, that's just kind of the way it's been historically. And yes, there will be a few teams that get snubbed that probably are better than a couple 20-win teams that get in. And let's take a look, John. I know you kind of figured out who you think's going to make it in, and so let's look at who
So you've looked at all these teams. You've run all your analytics. I know everyone knows John Cook been in the analytics and performance indexes and whatnot. Let's get his on the screen. So you were pretty big on, I believe, was it the Mid-South? You had a little love for the Mid-South.
Well, it's not that I had a little love. So here, let me walk you through the process of thinking. There's two ways to look at how the NAIA will stack a tournament like this, and that is the sheer numbers of things, like what the importance of performance. And then there is the other way is how the good old boy network works. Wow. And I know a lot of that's the dirty little secret of the NAIA, I guess. And in fairness, though, there's not a ton of media coverage that helps coaches, raters, the top officials that make decisions. There's not a ton of media that give you just constant information about how things are working from conference to conference. Mm-hmm. So coaches are busy, especially at the collegiate level, especially at the NAIA collegiate level. You're inundated as a coach with a lot of other things that you have to take care of. You don't have a lot of time to look in on how other teams are doing or even other conferences, let alone other teams. So you depend on other raters and other coaches that you have networked with over the years. And that's what we kind of call the good old boy network. Yeah. And those guys talk, but you haven't been around NAIA very long if you don't know how thick that network is, and they will just take each other's word for that. And then sometimes there are deals that get made, and that is just the way it works.
Well, one thing that the Raiders don't get a say on are those automatic bids, which are those green check marks you see on the screen there. So Harris-Stowe State, Central Baptist, and the AMC at the top left, they both get automatics. They both went to the tournament championship game. You saw Lewis Clark State won their tournament. Arizona Christian surprised quite a few people with the Golden State winning their conference tournament. Xavier,
that was no surpse to me. I think Arizona Christian, somebody better keep their eyes on them. They play a tough pre-conference season schedule. They usually do not get a lot of cupcakes on their schedule. They're very, very good.
And they made a huge jump in that last poll. They bumped up, I think, 10 spots just from unranked to like 17th. So keep an eye on them. Xavier took care of business, regular season and tournament. Same with William Penn and Georgetown. No surprises there. So that's why we expect a lot of at-larges to come from those, specifically that Mid-South. And then Red River, LSU Shreveport. I only saw, so this one, John, they may both have automatic bids. I did research on it. I know Shreveport's getting in because they won the tournament. I couldn't see that. LSU A, they won the regular season. Not sure if they had the right number of teams to get in, but there's a good chance. I think LSU Alexandria, top 10 team, they're almost certainly
again, you're looking at mine, and I'm sure if I know James Lex made his own. If he made one for me and took my writings and assimilated this, I bet you have one.
Yes, I have my projected qualifier. So I'm
betting that it doesn't look like mine.
No, I differ with you. I think the Sooner Athletic Conference, I had Wayland getting in. So I have Wayland in the Sooner.
There you go.
I still have two in the Red River. I have Stillman getting in Southern States. I think Stillman's got a strong enough resume. That's one. And then the other one I
don't know about Stillman being strong enough. They're good, but making a case for Wayland Baptist is, I think, potentially a strong case.
Mm-hmm. Okay, here's the case for Wayland. All right, this is pretty straightforward. Wayland, they have. Let me get the exact number for you. Wayland has 11. Oh, there it is. Yeah, they have 11 losses on the year. They have 20 wins. So they reached the 20-win mark. That's big. Seeing 19 and 20 wins, a big difference. They got 20 wins, 11 losses. All of those losses are to ranked teams and teams that will be in the tournament. Like if you go to their schedule, let me bring it up here so you guys can see this along with me. All right. So in their schedule, they lost to Bellevue, Nebraska, a team that is 24-8. And then they lost to Hardin-Simmons in triple overtime, 113-108 in triple overtime. You have Sagu, the other 30-point line. Not a great. That's not great, but still, Sagu's a top 15 team. Wesleyan, top 25 team all year. Mid-America Christian's been a top 2 team all year. Top 3 if I recall the earlier polls. John Brown, top 10.
You're talking to the wrong person if you're trying to make a case because they beat Mid-America Christian. I think the stars lined up for MacU, and they just had a good year. Not that they're a bad team. They got a great coach. I think he may have outcoached everybody, to be honest with you. Yeah. But and that's Josh Gamblin, one of the premier young guys in the coaching ranks of the NAIA. Keep your eye on him. And I just think he had a fantastic year. They're a good team. They're a very good team, just not a number 1 or number 2 type team.
Well, not to be number 1, number 2. I think they're going to make it in the bubble. Maybe team number 31, 32. I think they'll get in. And I don't mean number 1 seeded. I'm just saying I think they'll sneak in. I think the Sooner Athletics is a strong conference. They'll get in.
I think they're primed to be bumped off in first round.
You know, if you're the last ones in, you got to play a 1 seed, which could be Georgetown. They probably wouldn't pair them with MacU, but they'd probably I'm saying
I think MacU is going to be bumped off in the first round.
MacU?
Yeah, absolutely.
What? Okay, wait. Can you put those my predictions back up on the screen? So MacU. So they're one of the top seeds. Okay, let me see. Who
let's say if they got number 1, and let's say Wayland,
Shawnee State, Stillman. I mean, who's going to be that? I mean, I think MacU will be a number 1 seed. I don't think there's a way they're. I mean, I guess there's possible they didn't win their conference tournament, but
I think Hope International will get in. I think Pikeville will get in.
Okay,
possibly.
Pikeville,
I don't know if I think they're getting in, but I think the Good Old Boy Network is going to rally for Pikeville.
I've seen that on Twitter too, but Pikeville can't get in. They got to 20 wins, but John, they're 6-10 in their conference. 6-10. They could win. They could have won 2 more conference games and still not had a winning record in conference play. That team gets in. I mean, there's a team. I mean,
I didn't say they deserve to get in. I said I think they're going to get in based on the one of the 2 characteristics of how the NAIA works.
Which is wins. 20 wins.
No, there's the number side, the analytics that you can see, and then there's the Good Old Boy Network. And if you underestimate the Good Old Boy Network, then
I mean, well, look,
what are you going to do?
That may be the case, but look,
you're just underestimating it because that's the way it works, dude.
It does work that way, but I'm still going to contend that they only got 18 wins this year because 2 of them were forfeit wins, so they didn't even show up. They didn't even have to put on a jersey to get 2 of their wins. That's 18.
It's okay.
Whatever. I don't see a case. I mean, yes, there is favorability. They got a great coach. I'm with you. I'm with everyone really on that. But I don't see how 20-11 in I mean, Mid-South's a good conference too. I'm not trying to. I mean, they got really good teams. Cumberland's, Thomas More, but bubble team. They're going to be on the outside looking in. I mean, yeah, Shawnee State will almost certainly get in. 21-11. Campbellsville, they'd have to jump Campbellsville right here. Was Campbellsville need a? I mean, okay, John, if Pikeville gets in, does Campbellsville have to get in? Can Pikeville get in without Campbellsville?
Okay, so if you're asking me logically, Campbellsville would have to go if Pikeville goes.
You'd say they'd have to get in.
Yes, and I did say that at the very beginning. I changed mine around a little bit, and I don't. Okay. I popped mine back up there.
Yeah,
let's see how accurate.
Yeah, you had the top 4 that I had: Georgetown, Cumberland's, Thomas More, Shawnee State, and then you added Pikeville. No Campbellsville.
Yeah, and
Campbellsville.
Yeah, it's hard to think that they're not going to let them in. I mean, it may. I hope it happens, because I don't think Pikeville deserves to be there, and that's. I'm not trying to belittle them. No, I'm not even trying to do that. Yeah. It's just by the numbers. You've got to earn your way, and they're so far from it. I mean, to me, that keeps out Stillman. Stillman, I believe, has a better argument to be in than Pikeville, and maybe even a better argument to be in than Campbellsville. But
I think so.
Campbellsville is not a bad team. And these guys that come out, here's what we know. The NAIA tournament is, I don't want to say it's fluky, who wins, but it is such a unique tournament to the way basketball tournament postseasons work. And you don't play 2 games and then get a week, part of a week off. You come in and you play 5 games if you win it all in 6 days or 7 days. It depends on really what day you start, and even that's a little bit fluky the way that works.
Right, yeah, because they play all day Wednesday, Thursday, and then if you play Thursday, you got to play Friday, Saturday. It's move on.
How close these teams really are so close that it's not inconceivable to think a team like Pikeville with a great coach, tournament history, and they could coach themselves and just, play small ball, play slow ball, and work their way down and just, get a win here, and then build some momentum. And then, so all these things are, I think, juggled around in the minds of Raiders.
Right.
And the Raiders will take history into account.
Right. I think they will. You brought up some interesting comparison. Campbellsville, Stillman, both on the bubble. Stillman, they have a top 15 offense in the country just by the numbers. Now, you can kind of break that down, blowouts and whatnot. But still, Campbellsville, they don't have that. They don't have the statistical backing. Like when you look nationally, like they're number 7 in turnover margin, number 33 in defensive rebounds per game. Like nothing that just leaps out at you and goes, I need to be. This team needs to be in the national tournament.
Yeah.
Mason, he's had a great year, but you can see it steals and assists. Like they don't have a guy who just scores a lot of points. Mason scores 13. That's or 13 and a half. That's their leader. Whereas I think the committee's going to want to see at least one player on one of these teams that goes, okay, well, if he had a better team around him, maybe they'd be higher. I don't think Campbellsville has the numbers case to get in. Now, you brought up Pikeville. They probably think Pikeville would have a better numbers case. Let me bring up the Pikeville numbers here. Pikeville, they've got, so they have a little bit more. It's still very defensive-oriented. Number 29 in scoring offense. 83 points a game, 82. It's not bad. Just nothing that's just great. I guess it's the bubble, right, John? It's 32. Yeah. It's 32 teams at 9 conferences, but I don't exactly see the case here for
it's not a good one. No, it's not a good one at all. But
they have 20 wins. They got 20 wins. Wins are wins. There's no arguing with that. Let me go here to the overall. I wanted to ask you a question. American Midwest, interesting conference because you have in the American Midwest, you have Park that won the regular season here. Make it a little bigger. Park wins the regular season, but Central Baptist and Harris Stowe State, I can't talk, they both get the automatic bids, right, because they got to the conference tournament. Park's almost certainly getting in. Freed-Hardeman and Columbia, though, do they deserve some love?
Well, I actually think after looking through the numbers, running them through my algorithms, I think Freed-Hardeman actually is a better team.
Better than
Columbia.
Okay.
But there could be a case made for Columbia. So they made it to the championship game.
Harris Stowe State and Central Baptist.
Oh, okay,
yeah, and that's why they both get the auto
Let's see,
bids.
Columbia beat Freed-Hardeman. That's what it was. Columbia beat Freed-Hardeman in the tournament, and so I think
here's the tournament.
Columbia would have a bit of a fit if Freed-Hardeman made it, and they go, wait a minute, we just beat Freed-Hardeman.
Yeah.
So and.
Yeah, but of course. So first round of this, you have Williams Baptist with the shocking win over Park. That was quite the upset. But then they got blown out by 34 by Harris Stowe State next round. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It really wasn't that close. But like you said, Columbia, they have the win.
And like I say, in postseason play, anything can happen.
Mm-hmm.
So making these kind of deep arguments are the guys that have been around, especially the network of guys that have been around, they know. They like to lean on the historical evidence. How has a team performed in the past? Pikeville has performed really well. They come from a conference that performs really well. So there's historically a great case to be made for Mid-South and Pikeville. Not so much in who we're talking about between Freed-Hardeman and Columbia. Freed-Hardeman has been a few times, and I don't think they've done terrible.
No.
They've showed decently there. They don't get blown out.
Right.
But here's one thing that we haven't talked about, and this could be totally destroy anything that I put up, is what does the Frontier do?
Okay.
And I'm even more shaken because after seeing what has happened with the Frontier Conference in the women's Division I, they took 5 out of 7 teams. And I think we could probably look at that and go, they might do that again.
Yeah, Frontier. So the Frontier recap here is they can beat each other. I mean, if you look at the schedules for these teams in the Frontier Conference, right? Lewis-Clark State, they have 3 conference losses to Montana Tech, and I believe 1 to Carroll off the top of my head. But you have these teams that they have to play each other 3 times, whereas other conferences you just play 1 road, 1 away. They're doing 3. So, and I mean, 5 of them. You mentioned 5, right? Is that magic number? 5 of them have a 500 record or better.
I only have 4, and I thought I was going out on a limb when I put Montana Tech in.
There's a shot. I mean, Montana Tech and Montana State Northern, it's going to be tough because they're both on the bubble. And I think Providence is a lock to get in at 24 wins, only 8 losses. I think those top 3 are locks.
Oh, yeah.
Lewis-Clark got the auto bid, but Carroll and Providence might as well have one, even in a small conference. Montana Tech, Montana State Northern, here, let's look at the Montana State Northern schedule. Their bubble team, you look through here, they, the non-conference schedule is kind of nothing that really jumps out. Arizona Christian, look, they have a 4-point loss to Arizona Christian. That's not bad. Well, right now, Arizona Christian's looking like a very difficult team to beat. So losing to them doesn't look. It's not going to. I don't think that hurts your resume.
Well, and the other thing is, I think Golden State is a very good conference, and there could be a case for
Christian and Golden State.
6 teams out of it won't happen.
Golden State.
But there could be a case for that if you bring in Hope International, which has historically performed well.
22 wins.
William Jessup is actually a really good team. Really good team. And
I would hate to be William Jessup right now before this bracket review.
Yeah, I just don't think they will get in, but because they're most likely going to bring in Menlo. And if they bring in Menlo,
Menlo's getting in.
You would think
if Arizona Christian can get in, and
Arizona Christian posted 25 wins. Menlo didn't play as many games, so they only got 19 wins.
I'll bring this up on here. So So you said 25 for Arizona Christian. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
25 and 8. That's a very strong. That's a strong showing. Hope International 22. William Jessup. 5 more. Just seeing that 5 different between the wins and losses, like 18 minus 13, 5. Just seeing 5 just looks like they're almost 500, and I think that may scare away some Raiders. But still, they're putting up 81 points a game, just like Hope International, right below them.
Yeah.
And that's nothing to sneeze at. 80 point per game average, and defense. I mean, they give up more than Hope, but it'd be tough being William Jessup right now because you got to think if the at-large is going to someone, it'll go to Hope International. Hope International will get it before Jessup. And Menlo, I don't see how Menlo's. I mean, I know Menlo only has 18 or 19 wins, but they got so much love in the last poll. I think they were 19-20 already. I don't see them falling far enough to land outside of the top 32. Just a reminder, guys, we're going to have the men's bracket reveal coming up here in about 8 minutes. We'll watch it live with you, get live reactions, starting with those 4 1 seeds, and then they'll go through the whole bracket. So that'll be coming up soon. Go to championsports.network. Go to championsports.network. You go to YouTube to go ahead and subscribe if you're watching or watching later. You can also go on there, go to Discord so you can chat with us, and then obviously Twitter. to the Thunderdome, where we are posting updates throughout both the D2 men's and women's tournament and the D1 men's and women's basketball tournament. So final predictions here. Let's put up my predictions one more time, and I'll run through what I think is going, who the teams are that will get in. So I have in the American Midwest. American Midwest, I had Park getting in. I don't see how they're going to get left out. That's basically an automatic bid. I have 4 in the Frontier, and I have MSU Northern getting in over Montana Tech. I think overall, again, it's one of those things you have to look at the whole season. And the whole season, I think that MSU Northern has just the stronger case. Numbers-wise, they have a really strong defense, playing teams 3 times. That get familiar with them. They still have number 2 defense. I think that's going to say something. And they've got, let's see, I'm trying to see their key win for this year. I want to say they beat Lewis Clark, but that was Carroll. That was the big win for them, was Carroll. So I think they're going to sneak in there. Golden State, Westmont, Arizona Christian getting in, obviously. Master. Yeah, I just don't see how Menlo doesn't get in. In the Gulf, Tougaloo, Talladega, I think those are locks. I don't see. I'd be shocked. Again, if Pikeville gets in, there's a chance Talladega, you could see a team like that get dropped. I don't think that will happen, but
no, that's not likely.
24-8, I don't think. I think Talladega is a lock.
Yeah, okay. You win 24 games, you're going to get in.
Okay, Hart is tough for me, John, because the Heart of America, you have William Penn with the automatic. Clark so strong all year, 24-9 record they're in. Mid-America Nazarene 20-12. 15-9 in conference. They kind of came on at the end of the season, but I don't know if that Benedictine or Peru State's going to get in. Those would be my bubble teams from the Heart of America. I think it's a difficult conference, but I think the love in terms of the difficulty, that kind of SEC football love, right, where all the teams beat each other, you can pile up some losses, and they'll go, well, it's LSU, it's Alabama, you're supposed to lose.
That's
teams.
A real thing, and that to me, that is one of the toughest conferences in the nation.
Heart of America.
Heart of America this year for sure. Sooner always is a tough out. Yeah. So you see a lot of that, getting beat up on night after night. And then of course Mid-South and Golden State. Those are those 4 power conferences that you can really see a lot of teams, but there's a lot of good teams, and it's hard to really run a great record when you're in a conference like that. Yeah. So
plus the history of a good tournament run in some of these conferences, right, where you have William Penn.
I'm telling you, the Raiders really remember well. They remember what you did when you got in. When they, especially if they took a risk on you and you went in and you won a couple games, that's a good showing, and they like that.
Right.
They like to know that you can do. A lot of times that depends on the coach,
right,
and the way the coach will address postseason play.
Okay,
and. Other coaches remember that. And so don't underestimate how that works. And so I'm thinking there will be a couple teams that show up in just a few minutes. We're gonna take a look. It's getting close.
About 4 minutes away right now. To the live bracket reveal. And then. Let's see here. I wanted to talk. Oh, Southern States. Okay, Southern States is difficult because you have Loyola and Stillman. Again, so Dalton State 30 wins there. They got Faulkner with 27-4 overall blocks to get in. Loyola 23-10. They've gotten love on the last poll. I think they're in. Stillman though. Stillman's a bubble team. They're 20-10, but they overall over the course of a season. To me, I think they're a lock, as crazy as that is. Like, you look at, they had a terrible loss to Rust. That's really going to hurt them.
Rust is good.
But no, and women's side they are. On the men's side,
I thought you were talking about.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I got lost over here trying to find when they go live.
Rust they won 3. They were 3-28 this year, and they got 1 against Stillman, which is just, it's a freak kind of thing.
So it's under 3 minutes, and NAIA will be premiering or putting on live their brackets, and that's on Facebook. Play NAIA.
And then going back to Stillman. They got hot at the end of the year, so they got wins against Bethel in overtime, Blue Mountain, Florida College, Bruton Parker, Middle Georgia State, and then Dalton State. They lost by 9. Not bad. Dalton State has a strong resume this year, and to only lose to Dalton State by 9, I think that's going to be real favorable. And then Loyola, lost to Dalton State in the championship game. So I think the Southern States, I think they deserve 4. I don't see how again, you never know what these Raiders are going to do. If they go, let's take Stillman out, let's put in Hope International. But I think overall, I think Southern States are going to get 4, which I think maybe Golden State is potentially the stronger conference on the whole. But it's just, if you got to fill 32 spots, and so someone's got to get in. Any final predictions, John, for your number 1 overall seeds? And here I'll bring up the top records.
Well,
anyway,
Georgetown, MacU, I think are given. Although I would probably, you can't outdo the numbers in that particular case where they've been ranked all year. Yeah. So MacU did a great job holding tight. I just don't think they're worthy as far as their ability, but they'll be the first number 1 seed knocked off.
Okay. So do you have Georgetown as the number 1 overall?
Yes.
So 30-2.
Yes.
91 points a game.
Oh yeah.
MacU.
They got great Georgetown, great offense, great defense.
And then so you have Georgetown, MacU, Dalton State, number 1 overall, 30-3. They got 30 wins. Does that make a difference for you to get that number 1 overall? Because I've got Dalton and William Penn have 30.
I actually think William Penn would be a good choice at 3.
At the number 3 overall, and then I think LSU Shreveport's going to sneak in the top 4 to get one of the 1 seeds.
If they did, I don't think they will. I think both LSU teams will be 2 seeds, but I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be totally shocked if LSU actually does get a number 1 seed. You could go several ways with that, Dalton State as well. So, probably will shake out William Penn, Dalton State.
Dalton State, MacU, and Georgetown.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's about to premiere right now, so let's
just listen in and maybe. It
is Facebook. Sometimes the premieres take a second. There it is. Well, at least I'm seeing it.
Men's basketball championship bracket reveal. I'm Brad Seigan, Director of Athletics Communications, and we are here live at the College Basketball Experience in downtown Kansas City. In just a few moments, we will reveal all of the qualifiers and the bracket for the 83rd Annual NAIA Division I Men's Basketball National Championship in downtown Kansas City, beginning on March 18th at historic Municipal Arena. 32 teams will descend on Kansas City, where we will crown the winner on March 24th. The march to the NAIA national title begins now. There are 2 primary ways a team can make it to the national championship field. The program can qualify as a conference regular season champion, regular season runner-up, tournament champion, or tournament runner-up depending on the league. Conferences with 10 or more postseason eligible schools receive 2 automatic berths, while leagues with less get 1. This season, there are 14 automatic berths into the championship field. The other method is by receiving an at-large berth. These spots are given to the highest-ranked teams in the final edition of the NAIA Division I Men's Basketball Coaches Top 25 poll that didn't already qualify as an automatic. This season, 18 teams were awarded at-large positions. Now, let's take a look at the top 4 teams.
Top 4.
Our number 1 overall seed for the second consecutive year are the Tigers of Georgetown College. The winners of the Mid-South Conference Championship, the Tigers completed its season with 5 consecutive wins and was the outright winner of the Mid-South Conference regular season crown with an overall record of 30-2. Georgetown will be making its 39th appearance to the national championship, which leads the field. 39. The number 2 overall seed are the Evangels of Mid-America Christian.
You're right.
The Evangels earned an automatic berth as the regular season champion of the Sooner. Led by head coach Josh Gamblin, the Evangels are averaging just over 90 points per game this year. Ashford Golden leads the offense, averaging over 17 points per game, and leads in rebounds, averaging just shy of 7. The number 3 overall seed are the Pilots of LSU Shreveport.
There you go.
29 games
You called it.
on its way to earning an automatic berth in the Red River.
I just saw a
as
lot
the
of coaches
tournament
giving them
champion.
love, and I thought they'd
LSUS is
Oh.
the
love at
number
the
one
national
ranked
level.
team in the nation in field goal percentage this season, averaging 51.9% from the floor. Traquan Knight leads the team in scoring and is ranked number 2 overall in the nation in that category. The number 4 overall seed are the Roadrunners of Dalton State. The Roadrunners
great
earned
name,
their bid as the winner
Roadrunners.
of the Southern States Athletic Conference Tournament Championship. The team finished with an overall record of 30-3, one of 4 teams to eclipse the 30-win mark this season. Dalton State is ranked number 7 in the nation in field goal percentage defense, holding its opponents to an average of 40.4% from the floor game. When we come back, we will look at the bracket right after this.
All right, so thoughts there, John. So William Penn didn't get that one. They gave it to.
Yeah, well, they'll get
They
to.
gave it to LSU.
Yeah,
they'll
and-
get to.
And
Yeah.
what do you do? I mean, it's so tight. You could give it to anybody.
Yeah.
I don't think LSUS is undeserving of that top seed. Just depends on who they put in the bracket. I really hope they do not put LSU A, because they're going to be a 2 seed, no doubt, in their bracket.
In the LSU bracket?
Yeah.
LSUS? Yeah,
Yeah,
I doubt they'll do that.
I don't want to
That-
see them duke it out to get into the Final Four
No,
if
I don't think
that's
Red River
the case.
teams.
Well, they're the only 2 Red River teams, so
Yeah.
at least give them a
We don't know.
chance.
We technically don't know. They could sneak in South. No, okay. Southwest not getting in. There's no way.
Who?
Southwest.
Oh, nah,
There's
that's
no
not
way.
going to happen.
I didn't see them get any love in the polls, and I haven't seen anything that
No,
gives me
that's not gonna
indication.
happen.
But, all right, bracket should be coming back now, so let's go take a look there. Whoa, there's Mid-American Nazarene.
At large berth out of the Heart with an overall record of 20-2.
We were right there.
Our next matchup features the Bulldogs of Tougaloo as the number 4 seed. The Bulldogs earned an at-large bid to the championship with an
Interesting.
overall record of 24-8. They will face the
a little
Firestorm
low.
of Arizona Christian.
Wow.
Firestorm earned an automatic
the
berth of
5
the Golden
seed.
State Athletic Conference
Yeah.
as the tournament
That's
champion.
about right. I think
The
that's about
Golden
right.
Eagles
They're
of
good,
John
man.
Brown are in by way of an at-large
3,
berth.
so that means
The
they
Golden
got
Eagles
9th,
finished with an overall
their
record
highest.
of 28-5 and are making their 9th appearance. They will face the Hornets of Harris-Stowe. The Hornets
Wow.
earn their slot as the champion of the AMC tournament and enter with an overall
That's
record of
going to be a
20.
really good matchup.
That's going to be a great
Faulkner
game.
will slide in as the number
Faulkner.
2 seed in
Okay.
the Naismith quadrant as the regular season champion of the Southern States. The Eagles will face the Bears of Shawnee State.
Shawnee
The Bears
State
are making their first
got in.
appearance in the Division I men's basketball championship field with an overall record
Springs.
of 21-11. Moving down to the Kramer quadrant, the number 1 seed will be the Roadrunners of Dalton State. The Roadrunners won the Southern States Athletic Conference tournament. They will face the Bears of U-Pike.
Pikeville
U-Pike
got
grabbed an
in.
at-large berth
I
with
told you,
a
dude.
20
I told
record
you.
no. into
Told you that was going to
No.
happen.
Our next
But
matchup
here's
will
the-
feature
here-
the Generals of LSU Alexandria.
Yeah, they won't
the
be with
Generals
LSU.
under
Okay.
Coach Larry Cordero.
Wow.
That means they're the
A
number
number
5. That means they'll be the number 5 overall.
They
If the-
they
if the-
put
will
them at
face
number
the Oaks
4.
of Menlo.
Oh, wow.
The
They dropped
Oaks
them.
earned an at-large
There's
bid
Menlo.
out of
Yep,
the GSAC
there's
with an
Menlo.
overall record
Pikeville.
of 19-9.
Man, you
Are
were
you
right.
The
I
kidding
Kansas
me?
Saints
I give
of
it to you.
Carroll
You
College
called
will
it.
be making their 5th
I cannot
appearance
believe they
in the
put
championship
LSU
with an at-large
A
berth
at
out of
4.
the Frontier Conference.
Man,
They will
I
put
don't
their
know.
24-9 record
You
on
called
the
it,
line
though.
against
You called
the
it.
Rams of Texas Wesleyan. The Rams
6.
earned an
That's
at-large
gonna be a
berth
great
with an
first-round
overall
game.
record of 21-9.
This is going to be interesting.
The
This
last
number
matchup
2
of
here.
the Kramer quadrant features the Statesmen of William Penn.
Yeah.
Regular
Yeah.
season
Okay.
and
Well,
tournament
I
champion of
thought
the
they
Heart.
would put
They
William
will
Penn
enter
in
with an
another
overall record of
bracket.
30-3.
Well, that means William
They
Penn's
will
probably
face
fifth.
the Mustangs of Central Baptist. The Mustangs earn an automatic
Baptist.
bid
Well, that's
as the
on
regular
Dalton
season
State's
champion of the
side,
AMC
Yeah.
with an overall record of
Yeah.
22-9. When we come back, we'll reveal
All
the
right.
right side of the bracket right after this.
All right, I'm going to
All right.
right here so we can get the full. All right, so let's take a quick
Really
look at the Naismith.
interesting.
So Naismith was Georgetown, and they got Mid-American Nazarene. So Mid-American Nazarene got in. We saw Shawnee State get in, and then obviously on the Kramer side, having to do this live here with the video, but Pikeville got the 8, and then the 7 was that Central Baptist and from Arkansas. Wow. There's some good matchups in the Kramer bracket. This is going to be a very fun. I think Dalton State, though, I think first round, though, they're probably going to clean up. They're going to mop the floor with Pikeville, and then
The first matchup will
back
feature
to
the
Dewar.
Pilots
All right.
of LSU Shreveport.
All right.
Pilots were the champions of the Red River tournament. They will face the Pioneers of Wayland Baptist.
Wayland got in.
I didn't finish my sentence, but I said because Pikeville got in, I bet Wayland gets in.
Features the Patriots of University of the Cumberland.
That means there's probably another Sooner team in here.
With an at-large
they got the 8
out of
seed.
the Mid-South Conference and an overall record of 24-8. They will
Sagu
face the Mustangs of the
could get
Masters.
the third or second seed in this bracket.
Yeah, it's John Brown.
With an overall record of 23-8. The Lions of Sagu are in
There it
as
is.
the champions
Yeah.
of the Sooner
Yeah.
Athletic Conference tournament. The Lions will be making their 8th all-time appearance in the field and have an overall record of 25-7 heading into championship play. They will face the Wolfpack of Loyola.
Wow.
The Wolfpack earn an at-large berth with an overall record of 23-10. Our next matchup will feature the Warriors of Lewis Clark State out of Lewiston, Idaho.
Yeah.
The Warriors earned an automatic berth as the champions of the Frontier Conference tournament with an overall record of 29-3. They will face the Tornadoes of Talladega. Dega, under head coach Chris Wright, earned an at-large berth with an overall record of 24-8.
Wow.
Moving to the Liston Quadrant, Mid-America Christian will kick things off after winning 30 games this season. The Evangels earned an automatic berth as the champions of the Sooner regular season. They will take on the Royals of Hope International.
Hope International. There it is.
I knew it. So much love for Hope International.
Wow.
The Argos of Providence are in as well.
Right.
The Argos earned an at-large berth into the championship field with an overall record of 24-8. They will face the Saints of Thomas More. The Saints out of the Mid-South have the longest absence from the championship after last being there in 1960. This is their first year of postseason eligibility since returning to the NAIA. Our next matchup will feature the Gold Rush of Xavier. The Gold Rush were the champions of the Gulf Coast tournament with an overall record of 27-6.
By my count, 3 Frontier
They will
teams.
face
in
the
to see if
Pride
they
of Clark.
There's
The Pride
Clark,
earned
yep.
an automatic berth into the championship field out of the Heart as the runners-up in the regular season.
Okay.
And finally, the Warriors of Westmont will take to the court in Kansas City as the regular season champion in the GSAC. They will face the Tigers of Stillman.
Stillman.
Tigers earned an
There you
at-large
go.
berth this season with an overall record of
Stillman
20-10,
sneaks in.
and will
So
be
they got
making
4
their
out of Southern
second
states.
appearance all-time at the championship.
Wow.
Let's take one more look at the
Yeah, let's
championship
take
field.
one look. Let's look
The
at it all.
83rd annual NAI Division I Men's Basketball National Championship gets started on March 18 in Kansas City, Missouri. Catch all the action on the NAI Network and the championship on ESPN3. Also, for real-time updates on your favorite teams, make sure to download the Experience NAI Championships app. Now available for Apple and Android devices. Thanks for watching.
All right, so that is the men's basketball bracket reveal. Let's see here. I'm gonna get this to a graphic we can look at here on the overall. Any initial reaction, John? You feel like that was fair? Felt good about who got in, and just you felt like I mean, I feel like you had pointed out Hope International getting in.
Neither of the Montana teams got in, Montana Tech or North State, North State, which surprised me. I thought maybe and that left a little room for Pikeville and Wayland and Stillman. So they reduced the Frontier love and really showed Mid-South love. Wow.
Put the bracket up here. Man, I don't know. It's tough to figure out. I'm trying to figure out which bracket I like the most out of these 4. I think Dewar's got some
I think
good matchups.
Naismith is going to be just some potential upsets there.
Harris-Stowe State at 6. Wow, what a good team to I think they just won they just won the conference tournament. They've got absolute
Munson,
killer.
man.
Yeah,
a
killer. As
maybe one of the best players. Top 3, definitely best players in the NAIA.
100%.
And, of course, with them, I think if you think about if we focus or give him Munson whatever, just let him get his and then take the rest of the team out of it.
Right.
You could approach it that way.
Yeah.
I don't know, teams that are just really built on the single character historically are not in the NAIA. They don't do
because you had like 7 games in a week, or 6 games in 7 days, something like that.
He's going to fall
you need a team,
at some point.
Yeah.
And when he does, what what's your team going to do.
But
So-
you could at least see a first round. I could easily see them beating a
Yep.
team like John Brown.
Absolutely.
And heading into that next round.
Oh man, that is
Shawnee
going
State,
to.
I could see them beating Faulkner. There is a path for that. I mean, Faulkner's still the favorite, but
Yeah.
and Arizona Christian's on the other side with Georgetown. I mean, that's a tough bracket to get out of.
Yeah.
That's loaded. That is loaded.
Yeah. Oh wow.
I mean, Arizona Christian's red hot right now. I mean, and Georgetown's looking. Wow, we had to get that team as as the 4 or 5. And I don't mean any disrespect to the Tougaloo fan base out there, but Arizona Christian, they are. No, I don't think anyone wants to play them right now.
Tougaloo is very good. They've put up a lot of wins this year, so you can't sell them short. That's going to be a good 4-5 matchup.
Yeah.
I don't see, other than the 1-8 matchup there, I don't really see a blowout. I think all of those are going to be barn burners.
And Naismith,
Yeah.
I think so too. Let's take a quick look at the Dewar bracket here. LSU, Shreveport, Wayland. I'm probably giving this one to the Pilots. Just they're so strong and they can.
I say
so
the
cool.
Pilots beat Wayland by 20.
Yeah, I would say
That's a tough draw for Wayland.
It is. But these one seeds are real strong. Cumberland's Masters. That's a tough one. That is a really tough one.
Yeah.
Boy, I don't know. And I'll have to fill out my bracket later. Sagu Loyola. Sagu winning the Sooner Athletic Conference tournament. You have to like their chances.
They're missing their number one player in
Yeah.
Nick Mason.
That's going to really help Loyola. Get
Yeah.
a 3 seed, and that 3 seed they're without their best player.
But they're on a roll. I believe they won the last or 3. They won 3 conference tournament games, right?
Yeah.
Is that how that worked?
Yeah, the Lions did. Yeah.
Yeah. Because they were at the. No, they were number 4 in that conference, I believe.
So, yes, they were. Yep. I think you're right. I think.
So they played the 5. Who'd they knock out first? Wayland.
Wayland, yeah.
Okay.
Which is funny because they're in the Dewar bracket.
So Loyola comes in, and they're not bad.
No. Not at all. No, and we said they'd get in. We felt they had a very strong chance to get in.
Yeah.
Out of Southern states.
I just.
I mean, they're a team.
It's hard to know how Dalton State coming in at number 1.
Yeah.
Loyola. Let's look up a little bit of. They were so
Loyola.
far different than Faulkner and Dalton State that it's.
Well, Loyola. I mean, defense is kind of what I mean. The stats will tell you that it's defense because of their steals, their ability to create turnovers. But I don't know that it necessarily tells the full story. They're playing Dalton and they're playing the other teams in that conference. Got 4 teams in, right? You get 4 teams in, that means you're getting respect from the Raiders, from the country.
Yeah.
They're
only a
acknowledging
2-point loss to Faulkner.
Faulkner.
And
Faulkner
5-point loss to Faulkner as well. So they played Faulkner very well in the conference.
Yeah.
And they got doused by Dalton State. Yeah, I think Loyola definitely deserves to be in there. And they split with Xavier.
Yeah.
And Xavier got a good seed as well. So that will be an interesting matchup, nonetheless.
Yeah. For those of you watching on YouTube right now, get in the live chat. Tell us what you think of the bracket, who you thought got snubbed, or if you have any hot takes here early on in the brackets. Let's look at the Liston bracket. Mid-America Christian, Hope International. We thought Hope could get in, but wow, MacU, they're going to have to play a 22-win team in the opening round as an 8 seed. That's going to be a tight one in the Liston.
Yeah.
And then
well, I told you, out of all of them, I felt like the one that could get knocked off early is MacU.
Yeah. And wow, the 22. And then next round,
That's not gonna help.
The Argos and Thomas More. Thomas More, I want to say they upset either Cumberland's or Georgetown. I need to check that, but I think Thomas More, they have the firepower to get an upset. And then obviously on the other side, Xavier, the Gold Rush. What a cool mascot. They got Clark. I'm actually pretty high on Clark this year. I think Clark is a scary team. I wouldn't be surprised. I know I've said it like so many times, but I could totally see Clark coming away with even this side of the bracket over Westmont and Stillman, the winner of that game. The listening bracket feels like the most wide open bracket of all of them. Like I really don't know I could see really any one of these 8 teams coming away out of it. Usually some brackets you go, maybe not this one. Probably like Naismith, you look at it, probably Georgetown, right, out of Naismith. But this and Liston, MacU, I think Xavier has a 3. What a strong team, they won their conference and conference tournament.
Yeah, and how do you feel if you're Campbellsville?
Campbellsville, because Pikeville, was that Pikeville? Yeah, they got in at U-Pike at 8 and Kramer, and Campbellsville finished higher than them, I believe. Yeah.
Well, yeah, by 2.
Finished
they
higher.
In the conference, 2 games ahead.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that, John. I don't know.
Let's see.
I mean,
Let's look at that.
Like I said, Pikeville, 18 wins this year. You give them 2 forfeit wins. I mean, I guess they count as wins. Not their fault they couldn't play.
They beat Pikeville in January 72-66 by 6 points.
Who was that?
Campbellsville.
Campbellsville? Oh, so they even have the win to go. We should have gotten in.
But they lost at the end to Pikeville by 8. So they split the season there. It's very interesting how they, you make a little bit of an argument.
Yeah, I'd say that's a bubble team right there. Campbellsville has a little bone to pick. And then Frontier teams. Thoughts on Montana Tech,
I think
MSU Northern?
Yeah, no, I think they got it right on Frontier. They might have got it wrong on the women's side, but
they're letting 5 in. But the men's side, they only let 3.
Yeah, I think that's appropriate for the Frontier Conference, which opened up for the Waylands and the Stillmans, which are very, very good teams.
Yeah, let me go look here, see if they.
William Jessup gets skipped by Hope International.
Because they got that's 2 teams, two different times we saw a team with perhaps the higher, or the team with the better conference record got jumped by a team lower in the conference to get to the national tournament. They're going to have a little bit of a... They
actually split as well that year. This year, Hope International split with William Jessup, and actually Jessup got the better of them towards the end of the year.
Well, let me see here.
Man, that was a 10-point loss.
So they haven't announced the final poll yet, but they do have a kind of an odd. Let's see here. They've released the qualifiers and the information on who got in, but it just gives us what we already know: the at-larges, the tournament champions, whatnot.
That's interesting. Appearances.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and put this up if you have this there.
11th appearance by.
That's
Faulkner.
Yeah, Faulkner. Georgetown
no, Dalton
39.
State.
Yeah.
I
Dalton's
can't.
got 4. Dalton's fourth appearance.
So Faulkner with their 11th appearance.
Yeah.
But right below them, Georgetown
39.
takes the cake.
Yeah.
39 ninth appearance. 39th.
But 29 consecutive. That's what's amazing. 29 in a row. They are the Dukes of NAIA D1 men's basketball. They are always there.
Cumberland's has been there for 28 of their seasons.
I actually didn't know LSU Shreveport. 16 consecutive years. Those are every year they've been. They're on a hot run right now. Last time in the tournament, a lot of these teams, 2019, so you have a lot of returners this year. I'm trying to look.
That's fun. That's fun.
A lot of at-large, a lot of info.
Westmont has been there 22 times. Xavier's been there 19 times. Yeah. And is that right? Wayland's been there 20 times?
Yeah, they're historically good at pretty much every sport.
Well, there you go. That's why they got in.
You notice, John, only one team right here, Menlo, 19 wins. The only team with under 20 wins to get the at-large bid. That makes
and this is their first time in.
First time, and they got in. So,
well, that means they almost had to do that because
Arizona Christian.
Hope International.
Hope, yeah.
Hope would have skipped 3 teams, but Arizona won because they got a automatic bid. So they would have skipped Menlo, who was above Arizona Christian.
Right. Let's see here. Sooner, Mid-South, Golden State, all getting 5 representatives. So the love went to the Sooner. Wayland was, I guess, their bubble team. Mid-South was Pikeville, and Golden State was Hope International. And then, it's quite a field this year.
That's Sagoo's 8th appearance. Shawnee State is the first time.
One of the newbies this year.
Congratulations.
Time to dance. Well, at least getting there. You just got to win it all.
Texas Wesleyan 17 times.
I think they won the whole thing a couple years ago.
Yeah, it wasn't too long ago.
Doesn't list it here, but
let's see, MacU has been only 4 times, but they've won it twice, right?
Yeah, I know they won it once.
Once.
I think
twice.
Yeah, 2.
Oh, this is their second year.
It's consecutive. On that column. Yeah, it doesn't tell me the chance. I know they definitely got it a couple years ago, and I believe they won it one other time before Gamlin was the head coach. He's the current head coach there right now. That's interesting too, looking, John, at some of these championship records of the history, like a team like Carroll, right? Mm-hmm. 16 and 13. Yeah. Ones that have winning and losing records, like Georgetown, 73 and 37.
Well, this is their 29th straight time. Yeah. They've won it quite a few times.
But they're going deep in the tournament, is what that tells me. The ability to make a deep run. Even we talked about Pikeville, 14 times, but they're 15 and 12. So they're getting wins, getting deep.
This makes their 8th consecutive year to get in.
Xavier, 4 and 18 all time. They'd like to turn that around this year. Now that they're in charge of their conference and they got a 3-6 matchup, they would love to see a win there. John, any other thoughts you have on the bracket this year? You feel like it's pretty much got it right, or maybe not too bad?
I mean, it's just so hard to say. Thumbs up, thumbs down. I say for the most part, yes. Campbellsville, feel sorry for them. And there's probably a couple other teams that just couldn't put the overall wins together to get there, but they were good enough to be there. And I don't know if that's probably a hot take, a hot topic for a later date, but you've got to at least work your schedule, stack your schedule, and get early wins and make sure you get over 20 so you can be a part of the consideration.
You have to get 20. I mean, that seems to be like, if you're under 20, we won't even consider your resume. I mean, you have to hit that 20. Darren Douglas on YouTube just asked the number 1 overall seeds. We'll do the bracket one last time before we head out. Number 1 seeds, Georgetown, number 1 overall. LSU Shreveport got the 2nd number 1 seed. Mid-America Christian, the 3rd number 1. Dalton State, the 4th. Now, I believe it snakes, so I believe that the final poll will show that number 2, William Penn and the Kramer, will be the 5. Westmont will be the 6th. Lewis Clark, 7, and Faulkner will be the 8th. So those are the top 8 teams based on the way they laid this out. Now, I think they make sure the poll goes a certain way so that LSU Shreveport's not playing LSU Alexandria in the second round.
Well, and I think LSU that even though it's a 4-5 matchup, I think they should have been a 2 seed or at least a 3 seed.
Yeah, they definitely dropped a lot.
But that way, if they would have flip-flopped Carroll and LSUA, that would put might make a little more teams
sense.
That have faced it off again. I like it. I like the way it's kind of worked out. I guess LSUA against Menlo.
Mm-hmm. That's gonna be
it'll be a good game. Carroll against Texas Wesleyan.
Looking forward to that one.
Should be good.
Well, guys, all this is going to start next week on Wednesday. I believe the first tip-off set for 8:30 a.m. Central Time, all in Kansas City. Make sure you guys are following at CSN_NAI on Twitter. John and I will be filling that up with all the important news and some highlights from the games as we find them. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel right here. We have more shows coming up, and you need to get notified. So go ahead, hit subscribe and hit the bell so you get notified. Last thoughts, John, before we head out?
I think tomorrow we'll get on for a little while and talk and go over the D2 tournament. There's some exciting things that have happened today in the first round last 2 days. days. So it'll be the second half of the first round tomorrow in men's and women's. So a couple decent games, and there's still 4 games left to finish out.
Right.
2 in the women's, 2 in the men's. That's happening in Sioux City, Iowa, and Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I believe I got that right.
Yeah.
Men's is in South Dakota,
yeah.
and women's in Iowa. But good. Just can't talk enough about basketball at this point.
Keep talking with
in
us.
the year.
Sorry, guys. I didn't mean to interrupt you there. Keep talking with us about basketball on Discord. Go to championsports.network. Hit the Discord icon. John and I are going to be in there,
all the time,
you guys up to date on what we're seeing from these games. And if you guys want to bring your hot takes into there, we're ready for them. Obviously, follow us.
Oh wait,
Twitter.
we didn't get early gut Final Four pick.
Early gut Final Four.
Let's
okay,
do. I
put the
did
bracket
the women
up really quick. Put the bracket up quick. Okay. Early gut Final Four.
And put it in there, guys.
Look at it.
Put your Final Four in Discord.
Yes. Okay. John Naismith. I'll let you pick a team. I think. All right. I'm going to pick Georgetown. I know it's boring.
Yeah. Well, I can't go against it. Georgetown is really the real deal. Yeah. So I can't go against it. So they're in the semis at out of the Naismith.
I'm going to go in the Kramer. I'm going to pick William Penn. I'm going to pick the 2 seed out of this bracket. Dalton State's strong.
And I think they'll win their first round, but I don't think.
You don't think they're escaping the winner of Carroll and Texas Wesleyan?
They could. They could. Generally. Depends on what day they play. Do we know that?
That'll be, I think that's Thursday. I'm pretty sure that's going to be
Wow.
Thursday next week.
That means Friday they're going to have to go against Carroll, Texas Wesleyan.
Saturday they'll play the winner of the other
Man, a team like William Penn that just runs all the time, that's like hitting a brick wall.
It's tough.
And that is going to be very tough come Saturday morning, if they make it that far. I'm going to say out of Kramer, LSU makes it out of Kramer.
Man, it's tough to pick against them. That's a good 4-seed pick, too. Because I'm not sure if Dalton State or LSU gets out of that side of the Kramer bracket. That's a tough pick. Dewar bracket, you have a favorite out of there? See, LSU Shreveport at the 1, Lewis Clark State. That's a very good 2 seed right there. They've proven they can win close games and play well. I think, John, I'm going to pick the number 1 seed out of this bracket, LSU Shreveport. They look so good. They're red hot right now at the right time. I see them running to the Fab Four.
They are excellent. Let me make one quick calculation.
Yeah, got to run numbers. I know. While you're running that number on the Liston bracket, it's wide open. I'm gonna go get an unconventional pick, and I'm gonna pick Clark out of Iowa, 6 seed. You know, NAIA, there's always like one of the Final Four that has like a 6, 7, or 8 seed. However, just how it works out. I'm gonna pick Clark. So don't disappoint me, Clark. I'm picking some Heart of America teams here with William Penn and Clark, but I'm just a gut feeling. Anyway, back to Dewar.
Dewar, I'm going to go with Cumberland's.
Yeah,
it's going to
South team.
If they make it past the first round, I think it's going to be Cumberland's or the Masters out of the Dewar.
The winner of that first round, you have winning the whole Dewar bracket.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's going to come. That is going to be a game. Do not miss that game. That game is going to be a barn burner.
That should also be next week on Thursday.
I'm going to go ahead and predict on a very skinny limb. Cumberland's.
All right. Pick the 4 seed. I like it.
Yeah, and then
that means they're going to have to beat LSU or Wayland in the second round. That's going to be a good game. And then, all right, Liston bracket. That's tough. This feels like the most wide open bracket. I really don't know who's going to win this one.
I'm going to take Westmont all the way to the Final Four.
So Masters West, you brought up Masters potentially. So that's a Golden State team. You got Westmont here. So it seemed to like the Mid-South and the Golden State teams.
Well, they had a very good, very good
and
seasons.
Red River and LSU Alexandria. So. All right, well, guys, that's going to do it for us for this episode of Buzzer Beater. Again, make sure you subscribe on YouTube, hit the bell so you get notified next time. Whether we go live or we'll premiere it, you guys get notified. On behalf of our entire crew, I'm James Lex. He's John Cookman. Follow us on Twitter at JamesLex, at John Cookman, and we'll be back soon.